Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be discussing the two-handed axe for Bardin, the Dwarf Ranger. In the background you'll see me doing a solo run on Man the Ramparts on Cataclysm difficulty using this weapon. The meta, I believe, is that either the two-handed hammer or the axe and shield, possibly mace and shield, depending, are the best melee weapons. I think most folks would agree that the handgun is also the best ranged weapon, but I personally do enjoy using the drake fires, but I use the handgun most of the time just because it has all of its advantages. But anyway, as for the two-handed axe, I'll be making some comparisons between the two-handed axe on Bardin and the two-handed sword on Kruber, as Bardin and Kruber are often compared to one another as they have similar weapon sets and play similar or can fill similar roles in a team. With the two-handed sword for Kruber and the two-handed axe for Bardin, those fall into the role of wave clear, a little bit of crowd control, as opposed to the hammer on both of those characters being exceptional for crowd control as opposed to damage and killing things. So the two-handed axe as compared to the two-handed hammer on Bardin. The two-handed hammer has a straight right to left and left to right swing pattern, as you can see there. That's on the charged attack. The charged attack on the two-handed axe has a little bit more of an angle to it, a little bit steeper than that of the angle on the two-handed sword for Kruber. This has a couple implications. One, it sort of limits its crowd control ability a little bit by making it harder to hit things at the extreme edges of your screen, depending on whether you're looking too high or too low. And it also, and as such, it you hit less targets, and it's a little bit harder to hit headshots from more than one rat at a time. That's for damage. So the two-handed hammer, I don't believe has a target limit, but it only does damage to 2 rats. The first 2 rats that it hits, with more being done to the first rat than the second rat. Meaning that at maximum you can kill maybe 2 rats with a swing on a hammer. Whereas with the two-handed axe, it has a target limit of 4, meaning you can hit 4 rats with it with every charged attack, but it does damage to all of those rats as opposed to the hammer doing only damage to 2, meaning it's better for killing stuff. And that's what I meant at the beginning of the video when I said it's better for wave clear. Now the two-handed sword on Kruber fills a similar role. It also has... It actually has, I believe, a higher target limit than the two-handed axe. I think it's something like 6. It's 5 or 6 targets, I forget now. But it does damage to all of those targets, making it good for wave clear. So, total damage-wise, maximizing DPS, the two-handed sword will do more potential damage than the two-handed axe on a charged attack if you're hitting the full target limit of rats. Now, there are some notable differences other than the swing pattern between the two-handed sword on Kruber and the two-handed axe on Bardin. The main difference for me is that right there you just saw it, the light attack with the two-handed axe is an overhead attack. It is single target, I believe. Actually, on the stats page it shows a little bit higher target limit, so maybe it can hit more than one thing, but they'd have to be right on top of each other in a line if that's the case. So essentially it's a single target attack. And with its swing pattern it will tend to get headshots, giving a little bit more of a damage bonus. Both attacks on the two-handed axe have armor penetration, and with the single target overhead headshot attack, it makes it quite nice for attacking storm vermin. Right there you just saw me do a different technique. You can follow up a charged attack with a light attack to do a fairly fast 2-hit combo. Also there you saw me blocking right after my light attack. That's not only for defensive purposes, but also it helps you swing your weapon a little bit faster and start moving again a little bit faster. Compared to the two-handed hammer, that actually happens a little bit quicker. There's a little bit less weightiness in the animation, so you can actually chain the attack slightly faster, it feels, with both the light and the charged attack. Plus, it lets you, with the animation cancel due to blocking, or due to doing a true animation cancel where you switch weapons quickly, it lets you start moving normal speed again, which can help you avoid damage. Yep, there's the handgun doing its job. Right there you saw my axe stop swinging for a second. It didn't finish its full animation. That means I hit 4 rats. That means I hit my target limit. Now, right there you just saw how I hit that Storm Vermin twice while he was doing an animation, and I did not cancel the Storm Vermin's animation. That is a disadvantage of this weapon compared to the two-handed axe. So, it does more damage, but it does not have enough stagger to actually animation or take a Storm Vermin out of its attack animation and stagger it, meaning that it will continue its swing and hit whatever it's trying to hit, and that can be a problem. That's one of the reasons why I believe the two-handed hammer is considered to be a little bit better than the two-handed axe, because of its control capabilities. Crowd control is very important in this game. It helps you save your teammates, who can therefore do more damage. Trying to put up big numbers at the end isn't that big a deal in this game. Most kills, blah 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 blah, most damage, blah 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 blah. You know, any wins win, and you do it as a team. So, when you're trying to make up a team, if you're actually doing a pre-made, or just trying to actually communicate with your teammates, your random teammates, before you start the match, it's a good idea to have at least one person with good crowd control. Typically this role falls to either Kruber or Bardin, utilizing either a shield and one-handed weapon combo or the two-handed hammer. If you can, it's not a bad idea to have 2 people utilizing crowd control type weapons. Might go make them a little bit slower, but quite a bit safer. But you know, I'm trying to go for a little bit more optimal team makeup maybe. As long as one of those 2 folks is running with crowd control weapons, then the other one can maybe go with a better wave clear weapon, meaning the two-handed axe on Bardin or the two-handed sword on Kruber. An aside on the two-handed sword, so the two-handed sword on Kruber, it's slower than the two-handed axe, but it hits more targets. But its light attack, I find, it has some usefulness. I'll go on about that in a different video, but I feel like there's some overlap between the heavy attack and the light attack on the two-handed sword, meaning they both do moderate damage, I would say, to multiple targets, as opposed to the light attack you just saw me using there on the axe, having a very different swing pattern and a very different sort of roll, as compared to the charge attack. Right there, hit the target limit, that one I swing through. And you, in fact, I believe you do swing through when you hit the target limit, but if you hit another, I'm not sure, I haven't tested that. Maybe it just stops on the 5th rat and you don't do any damage to them, or maybe it stops on the last rat you hit. Don't know. Doesn't matter too much because it doesn't actually do any staggering to that other rat. Be careful here. Oh, yep, there's that rattling gun. The bots love their rattling gunners. See, if I'd had Drake fires there, I would not have been able to take care of that anywhere near as effectively. Right there, bringing up the block so that I could attack again quickly, and also just in case I was about to get smacked. There's the 1-2 combo. So on Cataclysm especially, that 1-2 combo is nice because it lets you chain 2 attacks faster than you would if you were just doing either charged attack, or light attack, this lets you take out clan rats in almost the same amount of time as you could if you could one-hit them. Almost. It's still a little bit slower, obviously, but it's pretty fast. It's fast enough. Go to another Rattling Gunner, switch to block. Switch, yep. First you don't succeed, push them over and try again. Oh, handgun, how we love you so. So, oh, here's another thing. Oh no, I guess I did kill it with the headshot. If you have a legendary handgun and you're on Cataclysm, or Nightmare actually for that matter, I believe, if you body shot a Storm Vermin, it will not kill it in one hit. But it will damage it to the point where either a light attack or a heavy attack from either a two-handed hammer or a two-handed sword or a two-handed axe will kill it. Even if that follow-up attack is a body hit and not a headshot with the melee weapon. That's just good things to know. Just in case there's a Storm Vermin moving, you don't think you can hit your headshot, but you're pretty sure you can hit a body shot. Go for the body shot, and then when it gets into the range where you can actually do damage to your team anyway, finish them off. The extra wave clear is pretty nice though. Extra damage, just overall damage, is nice on the two-handed sword and the two-handed axe when you're trying to do things like Cataclysm, because the bots don't do a ton of damage themselves and they'll just get bogged down by the little rats if you can't kill them fast enough. Now, right there you saw me get hooked by a Packmaster. A lot of time on Cataclysm, if you as a solo player get disabled by a special, that's the end. But luckily there was no other rats to follow up on that Packmaster and take me out, so this ended up being a successful run. Alright, and there we are. Well, I hope you found this video helpful and insightful as far as making weapon choices. Of course, if you only have a good two-handed axe and you don't have a good two-handed hammer or whatever, then stick with the two-handed axe. It does just fine. You just saw me complete a Cataclysm run. It can get the job done. Yeah, anyway, I don't think I got any good loot off of this one, but cheers, and we'll catch you next time.